Well, today I'll be doing a versus video. This time I'll be comparing the albums Flawed Design by Asonia and Outsider by 3 Days Grace. I got this signed copy online from Newberry Comics around when the album came out, but yeah, with Asonia, this would be their second album, while with 3 Days Grace, Outsider is their second album with Matt Walsh on vocals. But let's first talk about Asonia with their album Flawed Design, which came out back in 2019, which I thought was a pretty good year for rock and metal. But yeah, some of my favorites on here, Blind, which I think is probably a top 5 Asonia song, at least to me. I also think The Hunted was a pretty good single for them, and another song that I think is one of the band's best. You do get some pretty good features on the album too, from Sharon and Solely. But you move towards the second half where you get some of the more deeper cuts, and when it comes to the second half, I really enjoy Justify, and Another Fight's also pretty good too. Martyrs, I think, is a pretty good way to close off the album. But yeah, pretty solid album from front to back, and to me, the best thing the band has done so far. I do like, of course, the self-titled debut, and I do like the 2 EPs that they did, Introvert and Extrovert. I even have the CD that combines those 2 EPs, and I did get that CD signed when I got to meet the band last year. But yeah, Flawed Design still, to me, the band's best work, and all around, pretty strong album. I do think, of course, Adam Gontier still sounds great. He sounds great on this album especially, such as in songs like Blind and Beast and Justify. I mean, all around, again, really great album. But now let's go ahead and talk about Outsider by 3 Days Grace. Again, as I mentioned earlier, their second album with Matt Walsh. And so the first album they did with Matt was, of course, Human. And with that album, the band's intention was to go back to their roots. And with this album, you can tell they were trying to experiment a little bit more, but still at the end of the day, it does kind of sound like typical 3 Days Grace. But there are some songs on there where you can tell they tried to try new things a little bit. An obvious song being Love Me or Leave Me. Definitely one of their most unique / different sounding songs that they've done, which I think is an okay song. Never been one of my favorites on the album, but I do think it's okay though. But of course, you do have your share of anthems, which you can expect with any 3 Days Grace album, but some of the big anthems on here are, of course, The Mountain, which is maybe the biggest song on here. Infrared is probably my favorite song on the album. Definitely probably one of my favorite songs so far that they've done with Matt Walsh. And you also have I'm an Outsider, which not one of my personal favorites on the album, but I do like it though. Right, Left, Wrong is another pretty good single for the band, in my opinion. I do think the second half is not as strong as the first half, but I do think the second half does have its strong moments, like Villain I'm Not. I do also like Matt Walsh's scream towards the end of The Abyss, which is, of course, the album closer. But yeah, when it comes to Matt Walsh and 3 Days Grace, I like his vocals. I will say, and I'm sure many fans would probably agree with me on this, definitely not as strong of a songwriter as Adam Gontier, in my opinion. And you can definitely notice that with some of the lyrics with the albums that they've done so far with him. And that's not a huge knock on Matt. I do still think he's a solid vocalist, but to me, again, not as strong of a songwriter as Adam. But I have seen the band live twice. I saw them and those 2 times were actually in 1 year, which was last year actually. And with the both times that I saw them, I thought Matt Walsh did a pretty good job, even with performing the songs that Adam wrote or from the Adam era and stuff like that. I thought he did a pretty good job, especially in the song Home. That song made me, hearing Home live made me appreciate that song even more. And yeah, Home is still one of my all-time favorite 3 Days Grace songs for sure. But yeah, Outsider, solid album. I wouldn't rank it as one of the band's best by any means, but still, overall, again, still fairly solid album, I'd say. Now, if I were to choose which album I like more for this video, I'd probably go with Flawed Design. Overall, a fairly strong album from front to back, and overall, probably an album that I return to more often too. And to me, if I had to guess, probably has less filler than Outsider, but still both solid albums in my opinion. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know which album you like more and all the good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, a like, subscribe. Have a nice day and take care.